When Jaguar Wright speaks, the industry listens because her words shake the room. But this time, her explosive claims didn't just reach the blogs. They reached Kanye West himself. Jaguar recently went off in one of her most shocking rants yet, calling out Jim Jones, exposing hidden truths about 50 Cent's warning, and even revealing the twisted game that's been running behind the scenes for decades, and just when people thought it was another celebrity meltdown. Kanye reacted. That's right, the same Kanye who's been fighting his own war against the industries. Hidden Hands finally stepped in and dropped a message that shocked even Jaguar herself, because what Kanye said connects everything, from 50 Cent's warning to Jim Jones' downfall, to the same power players who've been pulling strings behind closed doors. In this video, we're breaking down exactly what Jaguar revealed, why Kanye felt the need to respond, and how this might just expose the biggest industry secret yet. So buckle up, because this isn't just another celebrity reaction. This is Kanye West and Jaguar Wright, two voices that the industry tried to silence, finally aligning on the same truth. And trust me, after hearing what Kanye said, you'll never look at 50 Cent, Jim Jones, or the entire hip-hop game the same way again. When Jaguar Wright speaks, she doesn't whisper, she detonates. Over the years, she's become known as the truth teller of the industry, the one who says what everyone else is too scared to admit. And her latest words, they've sent shockwaves straight through hip-hop's foundation. Jaguar didn't just call out the industry this time. She specifically mentioned Jim Jones and 50 Cent, two names that carry serious weight. And according to her, what's happening behind closed doors is far darker than anyone imagined. In a fiery live stream that quickly went viral, Jaguar claimed that Jim Jones has been playing both sides of the game, presenting himself as a hustler and family man, but secretly aligning with industry forces that control narratives and silence certain artists. She even went as far as to say that 50 Cent warned people years ago about Jim's hidden connections and his questionable loyalty. Her exact words were chilling. You think Jim is just another rapper from Harlem? Nah, baby. He's been plugged into that system for a long time. The same system that uses, manipulates, and discards people when they're done with them. The internet went wild. Fans flooded social media trying to piece together clues. Old interviews resurfaced. Clips of Jim and 50's past tensions suddenly started to make sense. But the biggest shock came when Kanye West himself seemed to respond. A cryptic message appeared on one of Kanye's private accounts, a short clip from his Yeezy studio, where he said they can't hide the truth forever. Some people still got the courage to speak it. And I see you, Jaguar. That single line broke the internet. Because if Kanye was actually siding with Jaguar Wright, it meant something major was happening. Remember, this is the same Kanye who's been openly calling out the music industry, exposing shady contracts, hidden deals, and manipulative executives who control artists like puppets. Fans instantly began connecting the dots. Jaguar was exposing the same power players Kanye had warned about years ago. And both of them, though from different corners of the game, were saying the same thing. The hip-hop industry isn't just music. It's manipulation. Within hours, major platforms started picking it up. Blogs like The Neighborhood Talk, Hot New Hip Hop, and even smaller YouTube creators began dissecting Kanye's reaction. Some called it the start of an industry reckoning. Others said Kanye was using Jaguar's chaos for attention. But one thing was clear. The timing was no coincidence. Just weeks earlier, Jim Jones had been in the news for taking shots at Nas and the Clips, igniting old-school rap tension. But Jaguar's claims painted a much darker picture, suggesting that Jim wasn't just beefing for clout. He was following orders. In one of her most viewed clips, Jaguar said, "These rappers aren't free. You think they just wake up and decide to beef? Nah. Half of them are told what to say, who to diss, and when to move. It's all orchestrated." That statement hit hard, especially with Kanye's own history of rebellion against label control and media manipulation. Fans began revisiting Kanye's old interviews where he spoke about industry plants and handlers. eerie similarities between his words, and Jaguar's new revelations started to convince people that maybe, just maybe, they were both telling pieces of the same truth. And what made this even more explosive? Kanye's reaction wasn't just a casual acknowledgement. Sources close to him revealed that he had reached out privately, telling people that Jaguar's message wasn't crazy, it was confirmation, according to insiders. Kanye believes Jaguar is saying what others can't. He's been in her position before, called crazy, unstable, or delusional, only for his warnings to make sense years later. And now, with Jaguar fearlessly naming names, Kanye seems to see a reflection of his own struggle, an artist fighting a machine built to silence truth. Meanwhile, Jim Jones has stayed quiet. Not a word, not a post, not even a comment. That silence has only fueled speculation that maybe, just maybe, Jaguar hit a nerve. As for 50 Cent, the man whose name started this entire web, fans have been waiting to see if he'll clap back. But instead of direct comments, 50 has been posting cryptic memes, hinting that he's not surprised by any of it. One meme read, "Somebody always got exposed when the truth get too close." That was enough for the internet to go wild again by this point. The story had gone beyond celebrity gossip. It turned into a movement. Fans were demanding to know the truth about who controls hip-hop, why so many artists end up blackballed, and why people like Jaguar and Kanye keep facing backlash every time they speak up. Even on Reddit threads and hip-hop forums, users began pointing out strange coincidences. Artists losing deals after speaking about injustice, songs being pulled from platforms, interviews mysteriously disappearing. It started to feel like a pattern. And that's exactly what Kanye warned about years ago, that the moment you speak against the system, you become a target. So when Kanye reacted to Jaguar's rant, fans didn't see it as random. They saw it as a message, a signal that something much bigger is unfolding behind the scenes. Both Jaguar Wright and Kanye West have been labeled unpredictable. Both have faced public meltdowns and media smear campaigns. But now, they seem to be echoing the same truth, and the industry is terrified because if Jaguar's claims about Jim Jones and 50 Cent's old warnings turn out to be real, then it doesn't just expose one artist. It exposes the entire game. And that's exactly why Kanye's reaction matters. He's not just watching, he's warning. He knows what happens to people who try to speak out. And if history repeats itself, Jaguar's revelations might just be the spark that sets off the biggest industry shakeup hip-hop has ever seen. The moment Kanye West's reaction surfaced online, the hip-hop community went into overdrive. Every word, every pause, every expression in that short clip was analyzed like it held the key to a mystery the industry had been trying to bury for years. Fans immediately noticed how calm Kanye looked. Not angry, not erratic, but focused. That calmness, for many, was the biggest clue. It wasn't just a random reaction. It was a signal that Kanye had already known about the things Jaguar was now exposing. Because if you trace back Kanye's interviews and posts over the last few years, you'll find a pattern, a timeline of warnings. In one 2022 interview, he said something that now feels like a prophecy. The people y'all think are street are just puppets for the real bosses. They play the gangster role, but behind them is paperwork, power, and protection. Once you figure that out, you stop believing in the image. At the time, people thought he was just ranting again. But now, after Jaguar's claims about Jim Jones' industry ties, those old words sound like a direct hit. Jaguar's version of events painted a chilling picture that 50 Cent once warned people in private that Jim was working closely with executives and handlers who used him as a gatekeeper to control narratives in the rap world. She said 50 saw through the game early on and tried to distance himself. 50 Ben knew what was up, Jaguar said. He warned people, but nobody wanted to believe him. Now, years later, it's all coming back full circle. And guess who agrees with that idea? Kanye behind the scenes. Several insiders have claimed that Kanye has been referencing 50 Cent's old warnings to Allegedly, Kanye told people that what 50 said about industry chess moves wasn't just beef talk, it was coded truth. Remember? Back in the early 2000s, 50 Cent was unstoppable. But as soon as he started clashing with bigger forces, his dominance started to fade. Same with Kanye. Both were powerhouses. Both refused to be controlled. And both ended up being painted as difficult or controversial. And now Jaguar is connecting those dots in real time, saying that Jim Jones played a part in helping the industry silence artists who refused to follow the program. The deeper you look, the more everything lines up. When Kanye said they can't hide the truth forever, I see you, Jaguar, fans realized he was acknowledging more than her courage. He was acknowledging the danger. Because the last few artists who tried to expose similar things, they either disappeared from the spotlight or were labeled crazy. Take a closer look at the history. Kanye exposes record label contracts. He's called unstable. Jaguar exposes insider abuse. She's called delusional. Lauryn Hill, Cat Williams, Orlando Brown all spoke out. All got blacklisted. It's a cycle. And Kanye seems to be saying, I've seen this before. Meanwhile, as Kanye's cryptic message spread, Jim Jones stayed completely silent. But his silence spoke volumes. Some of his associates began quietly unfollowing him, and a few industry figures started deleting old photos with him. To fans, that looked like damage control. But it wasn't just Jim under pressure. Even 50 Cent found himself back in the spotlight. People began digging into his old interviews, realizing he'd been dropping hints for years. One resurfaced clip showed him saying, "There's levels to this game. You think you're beefing with a rapper, but really? You're beefing with the people who sign the checks." That one line suddenly sounded like a confession that matched Jaguar's theory that Jim Jones' role in certain industry operations wasn't accidental. It was strategic. And if Kanye was publicly backing Jaguar, that meant he believed her version of events, not the one the industry wanted the public to believe. By midweek, Twitter, or X, was on fire. Trending hashtags like hashtag Kanye knows and hashtag Jaguar Truth began to dominate timelines. Fans started splicing together old clips of Kanye warning about hidden control systems with Jaguar's live streams. The overlap was undeniable. Some even argued that this wasn't just about Jim Jones. This was about exposing the machine that runs the entire culture from the shadows. Kanye himself has said it before. It's not about music. It's about control. Control the artists, control the message, control the people. That's exactly what Jaguar echoed in her latest stream, almost word for word. They don't just control what you hear. They control who you hear. And if you're not willing to play their game, you vanish. Now think about it. Why would Kanye risk everything again to react to Jaguar's claims if he didn't believe her? He's already faced billion-dollar losses, media censorship, and countless smear campaigns. Yet here he was again, stepping right back into controversy. It wasn't clout. It was conviction. Behind the scenes, people close to Kanye said he's been telling friends that he's tired of fake loyalty in hip-hop. Okay? That line alone adds fuel to Jaguar's fire, because her main accusation against Jim Jones was that he betrayed the brotherhood by siding with corporate interests over cultural integrity. The dots are connecting themselves, but here's the twist that nobody saw coming after Kanye's reaction. An old clip of 50 Cent warning Chrissy Lampkin, Jim's longtime partner, resurfaced. In it, he hinted that she needed to watch the company she keeps. Fans suddenly tied that back to Jaguar's claim that 50's warning years ago was about Jim's secret dealings. Now, with Kanye reacting, Jaguar talking, and old 50 clips resurfacing, it feels like the truth that's been buried for over a decade is finally crawling to the surface. Still, not everyone's convinced. Some industry insiders claim this is just another cycle of viral noise. But deep down, fans know this feels different. Because this time, Kanye is involved. And when Kanye speaks, it always shakes the system. The question now is, will he double down? Will Kanye publicly address Jaguar's claims in full? Or is this his way of signaling that he's watching from a distance, ready to step in when the storm hits? Whatever happens next, one thing's clear. This isn't just a social media beef. It's a cultural reckoning. Jaguar has pulled back the curtain. 50's old words suddenly make sense, and Kanye's reaction, calm, cryptic, yet confident, feels like the warning before a major industry eruption. Because if Kanye and Jaguar are truly aligned, then the truth the industry's been hiding is finally about to explode in the open by the third day after Kanye's cryptic reaction. Hip-hop's atmosphere felt different. It wasn't just gossip anymore, it was tension. Quiet, uneasy, dangerous tension. Major outlets stayed silent, refusing to cover Jaguar Wright's latest live streams or Kanye's subtle responses. But that silence only made people more suspicious. Because every time mainstream media goes quiet on a viral topic, fans know something's being contained. Meanwhile, Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok were boiling. Clips of Jaguar saying the truth's out and they can't control it anymore started spreading like wildfire. And then Kanye did something that made the internet freeze. He reposted a 2010 photo of him and 50 Cent with the caption, "We warned them." They laughed. No tag. No hashtag. Just those 5 words. The comment sections erupted instantly. Some fans claimed it was confirmation that Kanye and 50 had both known for years what Jaguar was now saying. Others thought it was a subtle way of saying the industry was about to expose itself from within. But to understand what Kanye meant, you have to look at the history. Back in the mid-2000s, Kanye and 50 were framed by the industry as rivals. Their albums dropped the same week, Graduation and Curtis, and the media hyped it up like a war. But behind the scenes, insiders have since revealed that both men respected each other deeply. They understood the system and how media manipulation worked. So when Kanye posted that old picture, it wasn't nostalgia. It was symbolism. He was saying, we've both seen the machine from inside. And just like that, the conversation shifted again from Jim Jones' behavior to the industry's deeper control. Jaguar doubled down. Going live again that same night? You think they care about Jim? Nah, he's just a pawn. This is bigger than him. 50 tried to warn folks. Kanye tried to warn folks. I'm just the one crazy enough to say it plain. The one crazy enough to say it plain. Her tone was raw, emotional, and unfiltered. You could tell she wasn't chasing clout. She was trying to survive telling the truth. But here's where things took an even darker turn. A few hours after Jaguar's live stream, her Instagram was temporarily disabled. Her backup page started glitching. Clips began disappearing. And fans noticed something eerie. YouTube had started limiting visibility. On videos covering her and Kanye's story, it was as if someone had flipped a switch. That's when Kanye posted another story, just a black screen with white text. They tried to silence truth the same way they silence sound through frequency control. It sounded poetic, even cryptic, but fans understood what he meant. He was calling out the censorship directly. Meanwhile, 50 Cent stayed quiet, not mocking, not joking, just observing. But then he reposted a clip of Jaguar from years ago, saying the system will eat its own. He didn't add any caption. That silence from 50 said more than any post could. By now, the triangle was complete. Kanye, Jaguar, and 50, all indirectly confirming each other's warnings about how deep the industry's manipulation runs. And Jim Jones? Still completely silent. No denial, no clarification, not even his usual trolling energy. To fans, that silence started looking like guilt. Reddit threads exploded with theories. Fans linking Jim's connections, past label deals, and sudden rise after certain partnerships. One user wrote, "You ever notice how every time Jim's career dips, he pops back up around a bigger name? It's like someone's keeping him in position." It wasn't just fans now. A few underground journalists began chiming in, saying that if what Jaguar and Kanye were hinting at was true, this could be the biggest unmasking in hip-hop history, because this wasn't about one rapper's secrets. It was about exposing a system built on control, loyalty tests, and silent agreements. And Kanye, who has spent the last decade calling out the same shadow structures, from the fashion industry to music labels, finally found someone echoing his truth loud enough to shake the walls. People started noticing that Kanye's new posts had a pattern. Each one seemed to align with something Jaguar had said. When Jaguar spoke about contracts signed in fear, Kanye posted a picture of chains breaking. When Jaguar mentioned industry handlers controlling narratives, Kanye uploaded a video of birds flying out of a dark tunnel. Symbolism, patterns, communication without words. To fans, it was clear Kanye and Jaguar were speaking the same coded language by this time. YouTube creators started putting together long compilations connecting Kanye's to 018. Slavery was a choice controversy. His beef with the Grammys and his recent media isolation showing that all of it ties back to one consistent theme: the fight for creative and spiritual freedom. And now, Jaguar's revelations were reigniting that fire. But then came the move nobody expected. Kanye's team reportedly reached out to a small independent podcast that had previously hosted Jaguar Wright. Rumors began swirling that Kanye might actually sit down for an interview uncensored to finally tell the truth about everything. If that happens, fans believe it would shatter whatever illusion still remains around the industry's control system. Jaguar responded in her next stream with tears in her eyes, saying, "If Ye's really about to speak, that means they're done playing. That means the walls are falling." And she wasn't wrong, because once Kanye and Jaguar stand on the same side of truth, the narrative the industry built for decades starts crumbling. But even as excitement builds, so does fear. Fans worry what might happen next, both to Jaguar and Kanye, because history has shown that anyone who goes too deep into exposing these patterns either gets silenced, blacklisted, or discredited. Still, there's a growing sense of awakening. It's like people are finally connecting dots they were never meant to connect. The comment sections are full of phrases like, "They can't hide it anymore. Everything they said is happening right now. Jaguar's not crazy, she's courageous." And that's what makes this story powerful. It's no longer just about Jim Jones or 50 Cent. It's about truth versus illusion, freedom versus control, and the people who refuse to be silent. Kanye once said, "The truth is scarier than fiction because it forces you to wake up." That's exactly what's happening now. Because in 2025, the truth isn't being whispered anymore. It's being live streamed, reposted, and echoed by voices too powerful to silence. And if Kanye West really decides to speak his truth alongside Jaguar Wright, it won't just shake hip-hop. I'll rewrite it. So what do you think really happened behind the scenes, fam? Was Jaguar Wright telling the truth this whole time, and Kanye just confirmed it without saying a word? Or is there something even bigger that they're both trying to warn us about? Something the industry doesn't want us to see? Because one thing's for sure, when Kanye speaks, the world listens. And when Jaguar exposes, the world shakes. And if both of them are now moving in the same direction, then hip-hop might never be the same again. Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts in the comments, because your voice matters here. Hit that like button if you believe the truth always finds its way out. And make sure to subscribe because this story is far from over. In the next video, we're breaking down the secret connection between Kanye's warning and 50 Cent's silent response. And trust me, what we found will blow your mind. Stay tuned, stay aware. And as always, this is Steep Fresh, where we don't just watch the story, we uncover it. We uncover it.